I am here to represent a country that is devastated, and I'm here to represent my people, the people of Lebanon, that is living today with a heart broken because of the savage explosion that took place on the 4th of August. Our thoughts go first to all the victims, to all the wounded persons, and mainly to the 250,000 Lebanese who have lost their houses, who are forced to move away from their main residence, and we look forward to them coming back to their homes. Today, Lebanon is confronted with a major humanitarian crisis. This crisis adds to the other crises that the country was living. The economic crisis, monetary crisis, financial crisis. But then all these disappeared suddenly after the explosion. The explosion of what is supposed to be more than 2,700 tons of ammonium nitrate is actually an explosion that is not very common, like us, in our world. This explosion would lead the inquiry to define those responsible, and those will be held eventually guilty because of what they have done or what they have not done in order to...
So the anger with Michel Aoun, President Michel Aoun, is huge. There seems to be an awful lot of fury, really, with Michel Aoun and his government for this explosion, for the presumed negligence, or at least negligence that is part or all of the answer.
The negligence is not only the negligence of those responsible today for the warehouse number 12 and the seaport of Beirut. The negligence is due to the negligence of those who are dealing with this issue, this problem, all over the last 7 years since the ammonium nitrate was stocked in this warehouse. Those who are responsible for this negligence, those who would be defined as guilty because of this negligence, will be held responsible before the courts of Lebanon. And these courts will be very tough this time, because this time the Lebanese population will not accept to see negligence leading to death, and those responsible for these negligence still walking freely on the streets of a devastated capital, Beirut.
Now, you were with Emmanuel Macron yesterday on the streets of Beirut. You know Emmanuel Macron for many years. What do you feel about the response he got? There was a very warm welcome for Emmanuel Macron, which I suppose correlated with the anger as well for the body politic in Lebanon.
Emmanuel Macron in Lebanon is welcomed like a Lebanese. The heart of the Lebanese beats with Emmanuel Macron. He is looked at as being a leader in today's world, and the Lebanese want this global leadership to help them out of the mess in which the country is actually. Today, we in Lebanon need 3 things to overcome the current situation. First, our national unity, and this is what Emmanuel Macron called for yesterday. Second, we need to be transparent, and we need to engage in serious structural and durable reforms. Those reforms are not only requested by foreign countries, but those reforms are actually the appeal that the Lebanese have sent to the leaders of Lebanon for the last X months, 9 months.
Who leads those reforms? Who will lead those reforms? We've had 10 months of Lebanese people saying, we don't want this government anymore, and
it was a different government at the beginning.
Right.
It was the Lebanese.
The whole body politic in Lebanon is rejected by the people.
The Lebanese took the streets to ask for the government to come down. A new government was formed. The Lebanese are still asking for the new government to come down. This is the Lebanese right to protest and to express their desire. Except that today, those who are going to be responsible to dealing with the reforms are people who are actually capable of handling these kinds of reforms. When you are talking about structural reforms, about durable reforms, we can of course not rely on people who are guilty of abuse, people who are guilty of negligence, or people who only preferred to put forward their own interests and not the interests of the whole nation. These people cannot, will not, and shall not lead the reforms in the coming period.